What's going on, everybody? So on this week, we are going to be talking to Collin from festa67's Workshop, and I hope I said that name right. And if not, I'm going to let him plug all the stuff he does anyway. So, yeah, I know, Sue, we're late. I know. It's okay. But anyway, here's Collin. How's it going, man?
All right, mate. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. I mean, it's Saturday. I had a 4-day weekend this weekend before I start the new job. So,
oh, nice. What are you going to be doing, mate?
I'm a production worker for the most part. So, in a lumber place, they have those little bitty, I call them strip wood. They're not 2x4s, but they're like 1x1s or whatever. And there's that little tag on the end of them. Yeah. That barcode or whatever. I'll be putting that barcode on the lumber. Oh, good. With a stapler or whatever. I'm not really sure because I haven't started yet, but that's supposedly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Hey, mate. Work is work at the moment, mate, isn't it?
Yeah. No doubt. It's been kind of crazy the last, I'll say 8 years, but like the last 7. Yeah. Just, kind of what I've had to do after my son was born, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I had an opportunity to change jobs and took advantage of it with the way the economy is.
Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, the answer to that is yes. I live in Oregon. Yeah, it's crazy right now. It is supposed to be over 100 over like the next week, starting today. Today's supposed to be like 120 or something like that. But yeah, the answer to that is yes. I am in Oregon. So anyway, how long have you been in the hobby? Back in the hobby?
Oh, back in the hobby. I got back into the hobby 2016. I took 20 years away because I started a family with my wife. So we raised our 2 sons. So all of our income and everything went towards that side of things and stuff for the home and everything. And then when I had to take medical retirement, I kind of got back into the hobby because I was getting under the wife's feet and she was getting fed up with me whinging and whining because I was bored. So the man cave was set up and I started building kits again, mate.
So those that don't know you, what do you like to build?
Anything. Absolutely anything, mate. I don't mind whether it's a model of a wheelbarrow or an intricate tank with interior. I'll build anything, mate. Scale kits, Gundams, Warhammer, doesn't matter to me. If it sparks an interest in here where I can create something out of it, then I do it.
What's the coolest you've built so far?
The coolest thing? Probably the AT-AT and the Baneblade, to be honest with you.
And we're gonna show those, but we're gonna have a conversation here in a minute. But for the most part, why do you keep yourself open like that? Because I will tell you how I keep myself open like that is because I don't want to just be stuck doing tanks all the time.
Absolutely. For me, it's to keep the mojo going, keeps the interest. If I was to say only build armor, I would struggle with the repetitiveness of it. So I would start not to be stimulated in my mind. So that's why I try to do different genres so that you can then keep that interest going. Also, I mean, my biggest thing I can't do, I can't build straight out the box. It's just something I can't do. I have to modify something, either change the wheels, the tires, open the doors, get the saw out and make something different or add something to it. It's difficult for me to do an out of the box build.
So I guess my next question is, if since you don't build out of the box, right? Or you keep it kind of loose. What's your biggest tool that helps you with that?
My hands.
Your hands.
Without my hands, I couldn't do anything. That's my most valuable tool. You know, I have MS, so you know, my hands are my key. You know, sometimes they shake, they tremble, but they are my most valuable asset. You know, I could have, you know, you could have the best airbrush in the world, but if you can't hold it, you can't use it. You know, that's just my philosophy. My most important tool is them.
Oh, that's a really unique take. I would not have thought that would be the answer, but no, that's a really good.
It normally throws people. They think you're going to say a knife, a saw, or, you know, I don't know, a pair of nippers, display nippers or things like that. But for me personally, because of my own personal situation, my most important asset is my hands and my mind. Because without that, you can't create, and without them, you can't make what you want creating in there. So, yeah.
So
interesting one, isn't it?
I really, really did not expect that answer. I'm not gonna lie. I was not expecting that answer, and it's a great answer. But so on that note, what are the tools that you use? Like blade, or do you try to stick to certain aftermarket stuff?
No, I've got all the usual tools, things like that. Saws, anything you need to complete a model, and a range of airbrushes. But yeah, it's I don't have a go-to favorite tool, if I'm honest, because to me they're all useful for their own purpose. So I don't covet tools where I think I must have that, because without it I can't do what I need to do on the kit. But they're there. We all started with the obligatory tea tray size workbench and maybe a few pots of glue and that, but now it's just grown into this thing, isn't it, that we all have, this massive workspace.
It's crazy how bad the hobby can just you start with I started with the drafting table or the craft table, the ones you can hold up. It's probably what do you think, 3x4? 3x4 feet or whatever. And now I'm at a 52-inch table by 52-inch table, and there's not it's just a disaster.
It's amazing how your work environment has changed. I mean, I look at the time I've been back in this room, and it's totally different to when I first started even filming. It's just mad how it grows, but everything becomes useful, doesn't it? You get a better quality airbrush, or you'll get a more better quality nipper, so that your cuts are cleaner. So we all progress, and that then improves your building skills, doesn't it, and your end result. So yeah, it's interesting. Even, I mean, I think we learn something new every day in this hobby. I'll see a picture in my gallery and I'm like, I like that, and then I'll contact the person. How did you do that? And they'll tell you, and you've learned something new, haven't you? It keeps you inspired.
And to be honest, I love the fact that this hobby, there's a lot of people that help one another.
Yes.
You get those ones that don't want to because they're doing it. It's their side hustle, is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's great. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
The hobby will always grow if we're always helping one another.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look at the biggest thing I found when I came back into the hobby in 2016 is how it had evolved from the little tins of Umbro paint and a paintbrush to suddenly people doing airbrushing, weathering, all the different weathering products that were there to achieve them results. And I'm like, whoa, this has changed. I used to build on a tea tray on my lap, and what I got in the box was what I used to build it with. A tube of Umbro squeezy cement, and that was it. And it's massively different now. All these rust pigments that you can get and things, it's mad.
Yeah, I mean, just the weathering side of stuff, right?
Mm.
You can jump down a rabbit hole and stay there for a couple days
Oh,
until you
yeah.
figure out what you want to do. And then just because we're on YouTube, right? YouTube completely changed the game.
Of course it has. You know, this perfect example, this little webcam becomes your window to the world, doesn't it? And it's amazing. I mean, when I got back in, I just had a neck surgery. So I was wearing a halo, you know, that goes round onto your shoulders and that. And I was been a right miserable child, basically. It dropped my wife nuts. And she bought me the Rossi bike and figure. So I Googled it to see whether there was any pictures of it and came across Tony at Elgin 35 building one. And it's the first time I had seen someone building a model kit on YouTube. And I'm just watching it. So I contacted him and went, mate, cheers, brilliant, loved it. And then he says, oh, have you got a channel? I'll go, well, no. Why would I? Who wants to watch me build a model? And then he replies, well, you've just watched me build one. So it sparked up a friendship that is still there to this day. And this is how all of this was born. And without this webcam and the microphones, we wouldn't be able to do interviews, live streams. You know, it's amazing, that side of it.
Well, we'll stay on this topic, right? Because we're in the interviews. Like, because of COVID, the interviews have gotten popular.
Yes.
And everybody is able to do them now because everybody just had to spend the last year in front of a webcam. So they have
absolutely.
It all, you know? So I can't imagine, like, when you see people like Red Dragon, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, before COVID, it was only certain people they could get because, I mean, that's the audience that, you know, had webcams and, you know, or sell, like, I don't know about what you think of StreamYard, but StreamYard, for me, does not like cell phones whatsoever.
No, I've not tried it on the cell phone, but because I'm predominantly in this room in front of this rig that I've got. So I've not tried it on a cell phone, but
yeah, like when you get someone in that's on a cell phone, is, like there's an echo. I don't know what the whole thing is, but StreamYard does not. I think it's because of the web browser thing.
Yeah, it could also be their cell phone microphone picking up the audio from the speakers. So you're getting an echo loop. So yeah,
I mean
that's why I wear earpieces so that I don't get an echo because my speakers aren't on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wear wireless earpieces.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it stops you getting a echo loop when you're streaming.
Oh, I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, they're about $30 a pair on Amazon. So yeah.
No, I think I have several of them that I've broken over the years.
Yeah,
that work. They still work. I just couldn't use them for work anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but switching back to the hobby.
Getting back to that streaming thing, though. I mean, my channel, I used to do a video a week on average to keep the content going. But when COVID struck, I just suddenly thought, well, I know what I'm like being housebound. I get cabin fever. Now all my mates are locked up in the hobby. They're going to be going mad. So I kind of moved the channel more to live streams for the duration of the pandemic to try to give them something, you know, keep them occupied, to keep them interested. And, you know, I do 5 shows a week now, but, you know, it's a nice way of giving something back, you know. So, yeah. Keeps it going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how many different shows you do.
Yeah.
And how many different people you have on there. It's not you mostly, but then it's like everybody calls him Dad. I'm not sure who it is.
Mike Mountain, Scaly Models. Really dear friend of mine. we call him Dad because he's almost like the father of the community. He gives good advice, sound advice, you know. And when any of us are down, he always picks up the phone or sends a message, "Are you okay?" And he knows me like a son. You know, he knows my demons and all of that lot, and he can spot it in me, you know. So he's very fatherly. So hence the word Dad. You know, we all go to him and say, you know, what do you think? You know, and he gives his worldly advice, calls us a twat, and then off he goes, you know. So, but no, he's a lovely chap. He really is, and very supportive. And yeah,
No,
I've got a lot of respect for him.
That's really, really awesome.
Mm.
So we're gonna. You've been kind of helping me with the Photoshop kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason that was one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, because like the top picture up here in the corner, I think it's your hazard sign, whatever, with your name.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like all your, how do I say this? Your ads or your advertising or your logos, they're all really, really top notch.
Yeah.
How did you get good at that?
I used to have a trike business building custom motorcycles and trikes. So I used to do a lot of airbrushing and designing, and I used the full Adobe suite, a bit like Jason Paul even out of OCC. I had that full suite, so I used to do a lot of rendering and CAD and Adobe InDesign, and so I got used to that and the graphics and all of that, and it's carried on now into this. So if you make an attractive thumbnail or something vivid, people will click on it. And that's what this is all about with YouTube. It's statistics, it's click-throughs. You know, say, for instance, yourself, you want people to come and tune into your channel. So you've got to give them something visual to make them go, oh, what's that? Click.
Yeah.
So that's where, and it is really bizarre, but thumbnails on YouTube are really, really crucial. And I didn't get it at first, how important they were. And having chats with modern making guru Fox and people that have got very successful channels, and I'm trying to grow mine. That was the one thing that kept coming back: thumbnails, garner an interest, get a logo, get a gimmick, so that people know you for what you do, and that's how this grows, mate. And that's why I pinged you over that one the other day. I was like, I'm gonna throw the hook in the river and see if I can catch you.
No, I mean, and I appreciated all that, right? Because to be honest, I'm not good at that kind of stuff. I'm really, really not. So it's like that's why because I had a cancellation for this week, and you filled in, which is thank you for that. But
it's all right, mate. It's my pleasure.
But that was the thing I wanted to talk to you about, was like all your stuff is visually stimulating. Like you can tell that. I can see why now they look that way from what you used to do. I totally get it now. But for me, it's just, how do you get a good logo? What do you want to use for that image? What do you, like I thought about just using the background, this background right here.
Yeah.
But, then it's like, well, that's pretty generic, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I've been called Festa now since I was about 22 because I have very dark eyes and obviously a bald head.
Oh, Adam's family. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I had the nickname Uncle Festa for donkey's years, and then it got shortened to Festa over time. So straight away, the iconic Jackie Coogan there, because a lot of people actually think that's me in the photo, and it isn't. It's Jackie Coogan, the actor that played Uncle Festa in the 1950s films with a light bulb in his mouth, and I stuck me out on it on Photoshop. And so many people think that's me, but it's not. It's Jackie Coogan, the actor. And my logo for my old trike business was the green nuclear hazmat thing. So I just amalgamated the two together and it became Festa's Workshop, Festa 67. I was born in 67. So
Oh,
That's the story of how that came across. I had the workshop for the trikes, and of course, as my health diminished, so my new workshop is this. This is what I do for a living now. So, yeah, festa67's workshop. You know, it's like your handle there, Resin Designs. You know, it's your surname and you design stuff. Bang. Now you need to get a logo that it needs to be something that people know you by. It be friends or colleagues. It could be something in your life. It could be something they always see when they come to your home. Then capture it and make that your picture. And, you know, and a healthy brand then sticks with you, because the idea is you don't want to keep changing it, because people will lose touch with your brand if you keep manipulating it. Find it, look at it, fall in love with it, and keep it. It's a marriage.
And like I really have bad squirrelitis. I'm not even gonna lie. Like like Facebook, you have your profile pictures, right? I'm always changing that thing, or I'll leave it the same thing for a while, and then I'll change it like every day for a week.
Yeah,
and some of that you just can't do that, and that's like one of my, you know.
I mean, I'll have a spring clean once a year on the channel. I might freshen up something, or there might be something I add to the banner, you know. And I recently changed it, and it was about a month before people realised the subtle change I've made, which was me just peeking up, sort of like that in the banner, having a look round, you know. And they're like, "Oh, that was something different," because I'm known for my hats. See, I've always worn hats, so you know that just got incorporated into it. So yeah.
So I want to take what you said about your job, right? What you were doing. How do you transition all that experience into the model hobby?
That's the thing I struggled with at first, because obviously spraying on an industrial scale, you know, you'd use a large spray gun for a start for your bases, and then I would use me smaller airbrushes for detail work. And it was trying to incorporate that into the hobby. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. And as my conditions deteriorated, I shake a lot. You know, my hands tremble constantly. So you can't do them pin sharp airbrush lines that you once could. And then I thought, well, how can I replicate that? And then I got into printing and designing my own decals, creating those, and then doing it with a decal, boom, to gain that effect. Decal wrapping model cars, things like that, you know. So that's kind of another facet that I've grown into. So that's how that's grown. That designing is still there within Adobe, but I'm using it in a different way now. I'm creating full body wraps for model cars and things like that. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You should try it. I'll dig the bubble car down in a sec and show you that as well. I'll add that to the list of things to view, because it is one of my videos where I earned the name the Decal Whisperer because of that, because people just couldn't believe how I managed to get I set a bubble car completely wrapped on one side with one decal, and it conformed to every single curve and undulation. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely gonna have to show that.
I'll just grab it for you.
That is gonna be cool.
2 seconds, I'll just grab it for you, Josh.
So it's so you've really taken the technology side of this hobby and, you know, to the max, huh?
Definitely, and it's worth doing. I mean, I 3D print, as you know. I resin 3D print, I plastic 3D print, and all of those things are now getting bought into the model kits.
Oh yeah, which two printers do you have?
I have an Anycubic Mega S filament printer. I then have an Elegoo Mars Pro resin printer and the Elegoo Mercury 2-in-1 wash station. So, and a lot of what was on the Bane blade, things like, if I just remove the teeth, you know, that's all come out of the resin printer. You know, that's just for the front of the Bane blade. That's a resin print. That's straight off the printer. That no sanding, no touch up, nothing.
You just primed it in the filler primer, right?
No, it's not even been primed yet. That's Elegoo grey resin, that is.
Oh, okay. Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not even been painted.
No, it and even the 3D printing side of this technology, like even a year ago, it's night and day different.
Absolutely. You've disappeared, mate.
Yeah. You were showing your thing.
Oh, sorry, mate. My bad. It's because you're hosting. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I move stuff around. I throw comments up.
Oh, bless you.
Sorry about that.
No. Because I'm so used to hosting myself, I couldn't see the windows along the bottom. So it's disappeared.
No, it's all right, dude. We're cool. So on the resin side of it, how have you liked that experience? Because it's a process.
I have thoroughly enjoyed it because a lot of it's experimenting. And I, again, as you know, I like modifying things. So I've made a few additions to the printer where I've installed a Raspberry Pi in it with a webcam, so I can stream the printing process to its own website, and then I can stream it. So I'm looking at having that as an additional thing on the channel where people can just watch what I'm printing. Because I often get asked, I've got the same on my filament printer, Octopi, and that does all my time-lapse videos of the 3D prints where they grow out the print bed. So I've learned new things there. I've learned Arduino, Raspberry Pi, coding, setting all that up, but also playing with the settings of the printers to get the layers really, really fine so that they're silky smooth. And that printer now is dialed in so smooth that I can print a figure, a bust. I don't have to sand it anywhere. It's perfectly smooth like porcelain. And that's just trial and error, playing with different settings, different layer thicknesses and curing times and that. So I've loved it. And again, you've got the CAD side where, say, for instance, it's 150 mil print bed and I've got a 300 mil. You can section the figure into the head, the arms, the torso, the legs, the feet. So you can break it all down. And I find that interesting and stimulating. It's learning something new, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, the PLA side of it, I've pretty much figured that out.
Yes.
But the resin side of it, I struggled quite a bit with that, and it's not the printer's fault. It's not it's not the resin. Well, it might be the resin's fault but for the most part, it's this guy's fault. Because I only had one bottle of resin, so I was trying to do what I was normally doing with the PLA side of it. Because you have to make an adjustment. Well, that didn't work, so we're gonna go back. Well,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then I got kind of down towards the bottom of it, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna ask a couple people. And I got good feedback back, but then I ran out of resin, so I've got to get more.
I treated it as setting up a new motorcycle. Find that base setting to get it running and ticking over, and then you tune the engine to make it purr like a kitten. And that was my mentality with that. And minute little tweaks in one direction, that's not working. Okay, let's go back to the base setting and go off in that tangent. And once I hit that sweet spot, that's it. Because I only ever print in one resin, which is Elegoo grey, because different resins need different settings. And I thought, no, I'll just want to set it up and nail it. The grey resin looks like it's been primed. That's what I'll stick with. And that's it. That's all I do. Elegoo grey. Bonk, bonk, bonk. It's like a little production line now.
I was looking at that and what is it? Frozen?
Yeah. Anycubic photon.
Yeah, I mean that's what I have, but the Anycubic stuff. But there's a I think it's fairly new. I'm not really sure. I kind of got the specs on it, but it's FHROZN, frozen.
Yeah, Fozon, yeah.
And that's supposed to be really good stuff. So, but it's kind of spendy too, right?
Yeah, that's the trouble.
And it seems like one of the guys I was talking to sent me a whole list of all the different variables each one has and which ones. And I'm like, all right, my head hurts. It's time to shut that off.
This is the thing. I mean, a friend of mine's on about pulling the pin and buying a resin print. I said, the minute you buy it, it's obsolete. I said, because in 3 months' time, the next model comes along and you kick yourself. I said, it's like a mobile phone. They're always evolving. I said, so just get what you want, learn it, stick with it, and that's it. You know, I'm not going to change my Mars Pro just because the latest toys come out. I've dialed it in. It does what I want. Why expend more income? I'd rather buy model kits now.
Yeah, no doubt. And then on the PLA side of it, I have the CR10, right?
Yeah.
That thing has been bulletproof.
Yeah.
It doesn't like some of the cheaper PLA, but you know, I run with what I can afford, right? Yeah. But I mean, I have to change the nozzles out every so often, but for stuff. But man, I mean, just some of the stuff that I'm able to do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's crazy. Like the Darth Vader thing that's on my channel that I've showed several times. I mean, it's crazy what you can do. And I'm printing out Batman. So it's been warm in here in the garage. So you just watch the PLA as the temperature, like the temperature in the room. And you can see the difference out here in my garage. Even with the PLA stuff or the resin stuff, you can see the moisture that gets in there, and it just doesn't affect it a lot, but you can see it.
You can see it. You can see a transition. It's a bit like going down, I don't know, a quarry and seeing the different layers of the ages where the rock has formed, you know, and you look at it and you think, oh, what's happening there? And it's temperature, humidity makes a huge difference.
It's just mind-boggling.
The beauty I find with it, Josh, is I could be sitting here now doing a dio, and I think, oh, I could do with some barrels or some jerry cans. Now, instead of having to go and pay a silly price for 4 barrels of, I don't know, $20, I can lean over on a USB stick, print them out on the resin printer. By the time I finish painting, let's go and grab me barrels now and cure them. They're on the dio. And it brings that to the hobby, your creativeness and your ability to produce. You become your own manufacturer, and you print what you need. You don't buy 20 barrels and only use one. If you only want one, you print one.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's what I like, that freedom and the ability to scale things up as well. You could get an STL file of a figure that big, but you can scale it right up and the detail increases as you scale it. I love that.
Yeah, I and that's where the miniature figures stuff have really changed a lot. Because I mean, the CR10, I've done a couple figures that are just absolutely phenomenal at 28 millimeter, I think. Yeah. But then you scale them up and it's like, wow, there's really a lot of detail in that thing.
Yeah, it is. And then you think, oh, I'd like to print a bigger one of that. A friend of mine likes the mechas, you know, the little robot figures, you know, and I've sent a couple of them over to Germany for him. And it's like, and now he's gone and got a 3D printer and he can print them himself. And that ability to see something, get a file for it and turn it out and print it yourself, it's another string to your bow, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how just in a couple years how the 3D printing has changed. I mean, it like when Thingiverse, right? Thingiverse was basically the only thing out there. I've had my printer for 4 years, so we'll say 4 years ago that was pretty much it. There might have been one or two other places that you could go get files that were okay. But now, I mean, you can. I mean, that's just a rabbit hole on itself, trying to figure out which.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because now you like, I do a lot of the Xanax stuff. He's been around a long time. He's still getting better, but like Game Body has changed a lot of the stuff that they're doing. Then you have independent artists
Mm.
You know, and it's just what you want to pay for it, that, because they're taking the, what do you call it, the graphic tablets, and they're taking ZBrush to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of see that, like, clay sculptures and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, people that used to do that for a living are now taking it to the computer side, and they have just...
Yeah, it's just gone up to a whole new level, isn't it?
Like, I thought those guys were good, but some of these guys that, you know, you see the 3D print next to their thing they sculpted, and it's it's just mind-boggling.
Of course, now as well, you've got that ability to 3D scan. You know, photogrammetry, that's something else I'm getting into in a big way, because you can use your mobile phone. I've got the iPhone that recognizes your face.
Okay.
And you print, basically what you do is you print out a mirror. And you put that on your mobile phone, goes in that way. So the camera reflects off of that mirror what you're taking a picture of. So you're using your 3D camera that scans your face to scan an object. And then you import that into Blender. You've now got a 3D image of what you've just taken a photograph of, or loads of photographs. Create the STL and object file, bang, straight into Cura or whatever program you're using to print with. It's coming out your printer 20 minutes later. It's mad. So that's another thing you can do.
Yeah, and that's fairly new, I think, right? And that's
yeah. About a year or so I've been playing with that idea. Because what I use it for is converting left-hand drive dashboards to right-hand drive dashboards. Because I live in the UK, we drive on what you would say the wrong side of the road. So
it is the wrong side of the road. But
if you're doing a model vehicle and you want it to look like a UK vehicle, then obviously you need to switch the driving position. So I can go in, I can 3D scan the model components off the sprue. I can then render that, do my work on it, do my right-hand drive variant, and print it. I've now got a right-hand drive model kit. If a model kit comes as a curbside kit without an engine, you can now go on to all these different websites. You'll find someone who's got an STL file of the engine. You just print it, bung it in your model kit, job done. So it's opened up all of them possibilities for me. So go with it.
And really, I mean, it's the possibilities are endless in this hobby now. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Absolutely. I often get asked whether I think 3D printing is going to replace scale model kits in the shop. No, I don't think it will, but it supplements them. It enables you, a bit like I did with Death Race. I took a standard Mustang and converted it into the beaten up, you know, Gasland style car from the movie. So you could print all the armor plating in panels and adhere them to the car. So it's enabled you to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, embellishing a model kit with 3D printed parts, great. But I don't think you'll ever replace going out and buying a model kit, because to produce it on a printer would take an eternity, wouldn't it? So, yeah.
No, and that's some of the positives why I think this hobby will never die. You know what I mean? Like, and there's sometimes that I see why they say that, and there's other times I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because like the younger people now they're going to the Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the models. It's not because, you know, they don't want to build the same 57 Chevy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's the social aspect to those games.
Yeah. Because of the gaming, you know, it brings the gaming and the modeling community together, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you have to put the figures together, and then you know, whether you go to a tournament or you go to your local gaming store, whatever, right? But that's where I think the hobby is doing a 45-degree shift, because you still have to know all the modeling skills to get them to work the way you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's why I think the hobby will never die. It just shifts 45 degrees.
Of course it does.
It shifts 45 degrees another one.
It's new painting skills and techniques as well, isn't it? You know, they get all the painting skills, the techniques, they learn something new, and it's, dare I say, very therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all okay. It's not, you know, like I mean, you can look at the wall behind me. I do almost a lot of different stuff. Like I mean, Batman seems to be the popular one up there, but you know, everybody's got a gimmick, right?
Absolutely. But again, that comes back to your branding as well. If that's what you're known as, then, you know, my brain straight away is saying, well, shape your logo like the Batman logo with Resin designs in the middle of it. Bang, you've got yourself a catchy logo, just like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, and it all that stuff is just an absolute process at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What you want it to be like, and I've just never really have had the time, to be honest. When I do get time to sit at this bench, it's the last thing I want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I actually want to work on stuff. Oh no, wrong one. Modeling won't die.
Yeah.
I have enough kids to keep me going till I'm 300.
Sarah Jane, bless her. She's got 1,000 model kits in her stash.
Really?
Yeah. And she says, I still want more kits. Brilliant. Couldn't meet a nicer personality.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been seeing her name and Scaly Models. I've seen him around a little bit now.
Oh yeah, that's Mike Mountain, Dad.
Scaly Models. Okay. Yeah, I've got a. So I think it was you that suggested that I get him on here. I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for him. You know, it'd be good for you as well. Yeah, you know, it's sharing the love at the end of the day. I mean, we've been interviewed by Luke, so it's a natural progression, isn't it? You know, you'd have Mike Mountain. Another good one for you would be Ice Queen. So, you know, it should do well.
See, it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because she was just on Luke's channel, so I want to
absolutely
put it out like a couple months before Sue comes on.
Absolutely. This is the thing. I mean, it's been a little while since I've done mine, but like you say, you had an opening and I was like, yeah, I'll fill in for you, mate.
You know what I mean? Nothing... Like, and Luke does an awesome job, and I try.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he?
But I try not to get the same people. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I know that because I like interviewing some of the people across the UK.
Yeah.
Because I've like Sue, I know them from a different hangout group, her and Paul. I'd love to get both of them on at the same time, but I don't know how I'd make that work.
Yeah. Again, such lovely people. They really are. They're so down to earth, funny, you know, and just sit there. We chat. We have them in the hangouts, and we just sit and chat about anything, you know. And they are incredibly funny people.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely awesome. So the one topic I wanted to bring up before we kick out of here, mental health.
Oh, yeah.
You're a big advocate for a lot of this, and I want to make sure. What's the foundation that you really represent? I model for.
There's Models for Heroes, which is Malcolm Childs runs for veterans, basically. Any military veterans, emergency service people, and that have been in a service. If any of them have got things like mental health issues, PTSD and things, it's almost like an open forum charity. And it donates kits to the beneficiaries. So, say, for instance, I'm an ex-serviceman, and, you know, I've got PTSD, I can't work, I've got zero income, then you reach out to the charity and they get you involved in little group builds. You have Zoom meetings, you can have, you know, kits sent to you. So it's a way of giving something back to that community. And I carry their logo on my branding whenever I do a live stream, because it's a charity close to me. I didn't serve, I failed the medical, but I'm the world's most frustrated soldier. It's all I ever wanted to be, but I give back in a slightly different way. I'm going to be shortly doing volunteering for them in another way, which I'm negotiating with Malcolm at the moment. But it's something that's close to our hearts in the UK, you know, and it's a way of us saying thank you to everyone that's done their bit for the country. So there's that. And me personally with mental health is mind. A lot of us modelers.
So before we get off the model for heroes, I wanted to ask Luke this when he was on and I forgot. Is that just a UK thing or is that worldwide?
At the moment, I think it's only UK. I don't know whether it'll go worldwide or not. You know, that's a thing to look out with for Malcolm, who runs it. I don't know how he wants to grow it, whether he wants to expand into Europe or whatever, because basically Malcolm does a lot of it on his own at the moment. So it's administering it. It is growing, you know, it's consistently evolving over time. So you never know, it could be worldwide. I'd like to see it. It'd be great. I think Malcolm needs about 400 hours in a day at the moment, bless him. So this is where we're all rallying around and offering our services to try and help him out.
Because I know over here in the States, there's a lot of veterans that build.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, there's a lot that, you know, I could see that jumping over here and being really popular. Or I could be wrong. You know, it's one of those things. I could be wrong. But
well, you do a lot with the POWMIA stuff, don't you? I see that logo a lot on things, you know. So there's a lot of that stuff and ex-servicemen. Again, we all end up in this rut, don't we, where we become very lonely, insular figures with demons. And it's a way, I think, of forming another brotherhood almost. And sisterhood, of course, because there are female veterans.
And that's really, really cool about that organization.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to ask if it was just a UK thing or worldwide.
At the moment, it is, but I mean, Malcolm would probably be petrified to expand at the moment, but I could see it ending up that way. It would be phenomenal if it is, because, you know, he's given a lot of time for it and he deserves a lot of kudos and respect, and that's what we give him. And he's a very humble chap, you know, and that's nice, you know, that's Malcolm.
Now, what were you going to say about the mental health stuff? You were...
Yeah, the mental health stuff. You know, I mean, I deal with mind for my own demons. You know, a lot of us in the hobby have mental health issues, but it's always that subject that is taboo to talk about, isn't it? Especially with men. Men don't like to admit they're struggling, do they? Because it's male pride, isn't it? You know, nothing wrong with me. Well, you know, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I struggle with me demons, and if I can be open about it and it helps someone else conquer their demons, then I've helped someone. So I'm very passionate about it. You know, it's, you know, I don't hide my demons. You know, I've tried on 3 occasions to end my life. Luckily, I've failed. A lot of people would be ashamed to admit that. And, you know, there's times when I struggle with it because I've got a wife and children that love me dearly, and I feel awful for them that I've tried that. But when you're in that rut and you're in that whirlwind of emotions, you don't see that. All you see is this demon having at you, and there's only one way out. And you feel very trapped and alone. That's why I'm very out there and say to people, if you're struggling, PM me, I'll put a link up, I'll talk to you. Because I didn't have that at that time. And if I had, I probably wouldn't have tried. And this is what I was saying to you before we came on about this webcam being your window to the world. This is my social interaction because I'm housebound. I don't go anywhere unless it's for surgery. So you get cabin fever and you get time to think, and that's when you're at your worst. I now can talk to people. So if that helps someone, I'm all for it.
No, and that's really cool that you're like that. It's really cool that you try to help others. Because it kind of does both ways. It kind of helps you at the same time, right?
Therapy for me, because when I'm coming out of a bad bout with the demons, I like to try and do good for someone else. That could be someone else that's struggling. I'll chuck them a kit in the post. Bang, there you go. It's almost like a therapy. And then you sit there and you talk with them and you help them out. That's therapy for me as well as them. It's a bit like an AA member and a sponsor relationship. You become very bonded, don't you, because you've got a similarity. You know, hopefully it helps other fellas and women out there that have got demons. You know, if people can talk about it, people learn to understand it and learn to cope with it and can help each other. And if it helps reduce the suicides in the countries, it's got to be worth it, isn't it?
Or, yeah, I mean, at least make you feel like you're doing your part, right, to help, right?
Absolutely. You know, I've lost 2 close friends that you know, took their own lives, and it hurts because they were dear friends and I could have been with them. I could have been one of them people. And then you see the hurt that the families carry on through life, and it makes you realize that isn't the answer. But at the time, that seems your only escape, your only way out, because you can't get out of this rut you're in. And by talking about it and opening up, it teaches you tricks to cope with it and replace a negative with a positive and talk to people. That's what it's about. You know, and take the stigma away from it. It's not, you know, it's not something to be ashamed of. Embrace it. It's a part of you. You can't change it, but you can learn to deal with it and cope with it.
And I know for me, I use this hobby for stress relief for the most part. Yeah. And you know, where I started and where I've now at is like night and day different.
Yes.
You know, it's at some point, you know, like I know with me, like if I haven't been out here in like 2 weeks, my wife is yelling at me to get out here.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know, like you can tell the difference in me when I don't have build time.
Yeah. I start pacing around the house and the missus will nudge me and go, come on, what's up? Because she knows something's getting at me because I become very introverted and withdrawn. And the first thing you do is you stop shaving. It's a bizarre thing, you know, because you don't want to see yourself in the mirror. You don't want to look at yourself. So my beard grows out and my missus goes, you and me need a chat. And the other people in the hangouts notice it. They go, you're all right, mate. You're not yourself, are you? And you don't realise that you're beginning to go, it just happens, mate. You know, it could be. I had a classic example recently. I had a message and I looked at it and I totally misinterpreted it. And I got myself in such a rut. I was pacing around, you know, over just misreading a message. It can get you just like that because you're on a bit of a low one anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's really cool. How all that, you know, comes around. It's just it is crazy what you need to be sane in this world sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can come in, do my live shows and be clowning around and goofing around, but inside I'm crying my eyes out because I'm having a crummy day. But you still do it because that's your therapy. That snaps you out of it because you're giving something back. You're doing something for the other folks out there that are in the same position as you. So you grit your teeth and fight through it, and it's a therapy. So, yeah, I'd be lost without it. This hobby saved my life. So it's as simple as that. Not ashamed or embarrassed to admit it. It's true.
So with that being said, is there anything else you want to bring up about the mental side of the hobby?
Don't suffer alone. Talk. Simple as that. Anyone out there that's struggling, talk to people. You know, if you don't feel right in yourself or you feel very low and, you know, talk to people. Don't hide it. Don't feel ashamed. It can happen to anyone. You know, I'll hold my hand up. I've got mental health issues. Simple. I've got demons. But I cope with them. I try my best every now and then. They come up and they kick my behind and throw me into the corner and give me a bit of a pasting. But I bounce back. I dust myself down and I come back again. So it's a part of me. Don't try to change it. You can't. But learn to embrace it and talk about it with family, friends. I don't know whether you have a Samaritans over in the States, but we do here. And we have numbers that you can contact if you're struggling with mental health, and people will talk to you. So don't suffer alone.
Yeah, and I don't, in the it's called the suicide hotline here. I don't
Yeah,
know where
yeah.
it's based out of, but I
Yeah.
know that's the big one here in the States.
Yeah, and you know, people think, oh no, I'm not. But at the end of the day, if you're thinking it,
Yeah.
you need it. That's my philosophy. If you're sitting there thinking, I'm not right, I'm really feeling depressed, then you need a bit of support. And never be ashamed to ask for it. It's simple. It takes a while. It's a bit like an alcoholic coming to terms that they've got a problem. You have to admit it to yourself, and then you go, right, I need support, and where do I get it? And yeah.
No, and that's really cool. Now let's show some of the stuff you've been building.
Oh, really? Right. One of the first kits I did when I got back into the hobby, I'll try not to drop it this time, was that bad boy.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
That's the London bus and the taxi build that I did. And the taxi's got my branding on it. I'll see if I can open the door because I'm actually driving it.
Are you serious? Wait, are you talking about the bus or the car?
Car. In the taxi are 3D scanned images of Festa with his pork pie hat on.
Oh, that is so cool, dude.
And in the back, if I close that door, is a 3D scan of my wife.
Oh, look at you.
And the number plate on the taxi is my name, COL1N.
Oh, look at you.
Apologies for the dust. But in the bus are all the passengers. Some are reading newspapers. At the back of the bus, there's a rack with the newspapers in, the conductor with the ticket machine, people in the queue with the daily newspapers. So, yeah. It's a shame the battery pack ain't working because all the lights work, the indicators work. There's audio in there of the engine sounds and the people talking. And then the posters are all my favourite bands along there and on the back. And then you come around the other side. My favourite movie, Shawshank Redemption. Modified the door so that it slides open. And weathered the bus to look like a bus that had seen many a year's service, mate.
That is now all those pictures, those are decals, right?
Oh yeah, they're decals that I printed, yeah.
That is so cool, dude.
Yeah, same as the wrap along the side of the taxi. That's a decal wrap. Being that we're on decal wraps, this is the one that threw a lot of people, is the bubble car that I did. That's a decal wrap.
Wait. So what's the purple?
Oh yeah, the whole lot is a decal wrap. Anything purple from the blue down is decals. That is one decal that starts at the back there and goes all the way to the front.
So what decal solution do you use?
I'll show you. So there's a decal wrap on the front, and there's the other side.
I'm not gonna lie, I would not be able to do that.
And again, I'll open it up for you. Let's get my spudger. Open that up, and inside is the football pitch.
Oh, okay. Now I see what. Okay, that's the Urkel car, or whatever we call it here.
Yeah. It's a little I set a bubble car. I use decal solutions. I use the ultimate decal solutions, normal, strong, and extra strong. Is what I use. Brilliant. That's what I wouldn't be able to do them decal wraps without them.
So explain how that works. Is that 1, 2, 3, or is that before?
That's normal, strong, and extra strong decal solution. You put the normal on first to get the decal to stick. Then your strong is a bit like micro salt. It starts melting the decal and getting it to shrink into any body cam lines, swage lines, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then if the decal needs a bit more persuasion, go in with the extra strong, and that just makes it go boink. and just keep applying it. And that's all I do with my decals, is use that stuff. It's brilliant, mate. Wouldn't be without it.
No, that's really, really cool. At some point I want to get Paul on here to talk about some of the products he sells. But
Paul Bretland, yeah, I mean, he honestly, I mean, the stuff he does, you know, it's true what he says. It's tested by modelers and it's made for modelers, and they sit there, they use it and abuse it and tweak the formulas, and then when they hit that sweet spot, it's yep, we can now sell that. And fair play to him, you know, because when I come across them solutions, I like to test things to the limit. And I thought, well, okay, let's try a full body wrap then. And luckily I filmed that as I did it, and quite a lot of people have seen it. And I got the nickname off of Cy Reynolds as the decal whisperer, because if he hadn't have seen that, he wouldn't have believed it could be done.
Yeah,
you know, and now it's encouraged other people to have a go, print their own, design their own, use the solutions, and it'll achieve it. Got another build I did not long after I got back into the hobby, was a Star Wars AT-AT, but I did it as a Caterpillar vehicle working in a quarry. And it was just a different take on a Star Wars machine almost, you know. It's just to try to, I like to take sci-fi objects and vehicles and put them in the modern world.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, well, an AT-AT from the movie, what would it be used for in the real world? I know, a mining vehicle. Shoot the rocks with the lasers, pick it all up and quarry it out of there. So that's what I made.
You know, I've seen that before, but wasn't there like a car with that?
Yeah, I did another one. I did another one for E-Models. They got in touch and asked me to build one for them. And I did the quarry vehicle going up the ramp behind it. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was cat number 2, that one.
Okay.
And then one of my most recent ones, people said that the Revell 124 Huey is one of the worst kits out there. Well, they're not too bad, are they? You know, and I went round, I opened up all the doors on it, all the engine doors so that you can see in the engine. Open, let's slide that one out of the way. Turn it around without dropping it. So I've opened all of them up so you can see detail, and also opened up the cockpit doors so you can see inside.
Is that the Revell kit?
That's the Revell 124 Huey that I've slightly modified by getting the saw out and opening up all the different doors and things. See, so yeah.
Oh, wow.
Normally these are molded shut, but with a careful bit of scribing, I opened everything up, made my hinges, and turned it into that. So just because it's a Revell 124 viewing, everyone goes, oh, it's one of the worst kits ever. With a bit of creativity and patience, you can turn out a decent vehicle. So, yeah. This is why I can't do out the box. I like a challenge, you know. And as you see with the bubble car, the bus, you know, you modify things. That bus came with a molded door that was closed. And whenever I was a kid getting on a bus in London, the driver always had that door open and slid forward. So I opened the door up, put it on a runner, and it slides back and forth. So it's little quirks. You know, made my own mesh grill, cut out the one that Revell sent, put my own grill in. So, and all of these light up as well. If you watch the videos on my channel, folks, you'll see all of these lit up. The little indicators work left and right, as well as the hazard lights. And it's the same with the taxi, that all lights up as well. So check out the channel videos, folks. If I had had a bit more warning, I would have put a battery pack in, but yeah, I kind of forgot.
You know, and we all understand, because there's sometimes we have to really go back and
and then obviously Warhammer, I might have gone a bit mad. Model making guru Fox challenged me to put everything that comes with the Baneblade in the kit on the Baneblade. So that's had its first base coat. I'm now going to start detail painting that over the next few months and videoing it for the channel. So But all the figures, they're 3D printed. All these little guys, they're all 3D prints. The fangs on the front, 3D print. So it's where it comes into its own, Josh. You know.
So I'm not very confident in this question, but that tank doesn't go with orcs, does it? Goes with
it's a bad moon. It's a Bad Moon's Orcs looted Baneblade.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they basically stole it, and then I've just modified it. But I don't play the game, so for me, it's that challenge of just creating something a little bit out there. But yeah, and it's funny enough, I landed the affiliation on that build because a company that supplies the kits have seen what I've done so far and kindly offered me an affiliation with them. So yeah, it can be encouraging. And it for me, it's another facet to the channel. It's another build that I can do, you know, that I wasn't doing a year ago. So got to try different genres, mate, ain't you?
And it's I don't know, it's kind of interesting how many different, let alone modeling companies are different, but let alone modeling subjects are different.
Yeah.
Because like you have the Battlestar Galactica is different than Star Wars. And both those are different than Star Trek.
Absolutely.
I mean? And then
absolutely.
And then you have Tamiya with all their tanks. And I have, let's see, what's another one? Oh, I have the Peacemaker B-52 bomber.
Yeah.
That won't fit on this table.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll hang from my garage because it definitely won't be big enough.
Yeah, you need a strong beam to hang that from, Josh.
Yeah, to say the least.
No, I like to build things slightly different. It's like the sci-fi, you know. I've got an ATST over there that is done as a swap vehicle. You know, it's just different. I like putting sci-fi into the real world and bringing it in. I mean, and when I built that cat, I was worried about offending Star Wars fans. I thought they're going to think I'm taking the mickey out of their genre. I'm not. I just wanted to bring something that's fantasy into a real world scenario. So keeps my interest going. And it's different, isn't it? That's the thing.
And here's the one that a lot of people don't understand is it's your kit. You can build it however the heck you want.
Absolutely. I mean, my bus is my most rivet counted build. I had one character got in touch. I used to drive that particular bus, and I can't remember seeing an AC/DC poster on it. So I just said, well, you have now. I clearly state in the beginning video, this bus is going to have posters on it of my favourite bands, my favourite movies. It's not an period accurate representation. It is my interpretation of a London bus. But it still gets river counted. It's too dirty. You want to get on the Streatham to Tooting bus. That's dirty. So yeah.
The ones that I've been on that are like that kind of buses are like super clean because they're like museum quality, right?
Absolutely, yes.
You know, so you get one out in the real world, and I guarantee it would look more like that.
Absolutely. On a rainy day in London where there was dirt and dust and detritus on the roads, by the time they got back to the yard, they were minging, and then they'd go in the bush wash ready for the following day. But you know, that's my interpretation from memories as a child getting on a particular bus route. It was like the buses were always dirty. It's just how it was. You know, people used to smoke on the buses back then, so there'd be cigarette ends and cans rolling up and down the aisles and all sorts, you know.
So what have you been working on lately?
I've been doing the Warhammer stuff. I've been building the Baneblade. I did this build with Mike, which is the Italieri 1/9 scale Triumph 3HW motorcycle from the war.
Okay, so wait a minute. Is that the Harley version or is that the?
That's the Triumph 3HW. It's an Italieri kit,
okay.
that one. Yeah.
I thought you said
I've been doing that.
Okay.
No, Triumph, that is, mate. So, yeah, I've been doing that one. And, yeah,
Really
that's
cool.
pretty much it at the moment. That's the most recent finished build. And, yeah, it's one of them because I've got to be taking a sabbatical shortly because I've got to go in for an op. So I kind of wanted to get everything that was ongoing.
I understand that one because like, yeah, I've got figures that are on a shelf that are in primer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I don't want to build them. It's just I haven't figured out what the color is going to be yet.
Exactly. I mean, when we get 3D printers, we print non-stop figures, busts, and everything, and you end up with a row of shelf dollies in primer, and you're like, "Oh, we'll get round to doing them."
Well, I know for me with the PLA, I don't know about the resin side, but when I stop that printer, there's maintenance that I have to do to it to get it back up and running.
Yes. Yeah.
And if I just keep it constantly pretty much going, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like people say that, you know, like my printer's nonstop, but it's because it works when I need it to.
Yeah, I mean, once a month I take all my hot end apart and clean it all and all of that, look at the nozzles and check them. If it needs changing out, I'll change it out. And I'll just go through, dust off any detritus, you know, and pop the cover off underneath, just check any wires, make sure nothing's loose, and up and running again. It's just force of habit.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like my year-long build on my printer was the Warlord Titan.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm now painting it, but like you can see the difference in parts from when I started that project to when I ended it. Because some parts, instead of being like this, they're like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Again, it's down to environment, isn't it? I mean, I find sometimes you can do a print on a filament printer and it's perfect. Other times, like say, you get a bit of warpage, or if it's too humid in here, the layers don't quite mesh properly. So,
yeah. No, and like that fine tuning of the, you know, what the settings are.
Yeah.
Once you kind of figure that out, it's like, okay, first layer's done. I don't have to watch it anymore.
Absolutely. I'll just walk off and leave it. You know, and if I want to see what's going on, I can look on my phone because I've got Octoprint. So I can see it on my phone. I don't have to come out here. I can just sit and watch the camera feed. And it's like, yeah, that's all right. Leave it be.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that technical with it, but for the most part, like most of my, because I slow it way down, right? So I get that even better quality. But like most of the prints I do are like a day and a half.
Yeah.
So like I'll start it, you know, like Wednesday when I get off work, and then Friday when I get off work, I'll have that piece done.
Yeah.
Or you know, it's just crazy just how much just tweaking a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when you hit that sweet spot with your settings, you don't need to change it again.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I agree with that. So anyway, we've gotten a little bit past that hour mark. Did you have any questions for me at all, or?
No, not at all, mate. Just keep your interviews coming, Josh. You know, you know, you're good at what you do. Go for it, mate. Live the dream, innit?
Well, I don't know if I'm good at this, but I'm making it work, right? There's a big difference in that, you know.
Yeah. You know, and it's getting out there, you know. People are coming in. There's a lot of people that I normally deal with that I'm seeing in the chat there. They've come over. They now know where you are, you know. Like and subscribe, folks, you know. That way they can see more interviews by you and it gets you growing. It's about giving the love out, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, everybody seems to like these, so I'm just going to keep doing them as long as people are willing to come on.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it brings that, it shortens the distance. You know, we always say, oh, the guy's over the pond in the States. But, you know, it's getting me seen stateside. It's getting you seen in the UK. So it's now bringing two different communities from the other side of the world closer together. So why not?
Wait, what? What? I'm only here for the free Malibu?
That's Sarah Jane. Yeah, it's an in-joke. She follows me around in the hope that I'm going to buy her some Malibu, bless her. Sarah Jane likes a tipple of Malibu, Josh.
I'm assuming the rum. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, it's white rum, Malibu. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, everybody's got to have a plan, you know?
Absolutely.
Of course,
Sarah Jane's one of the moderators on my channel, and the prerequisite of anyone that joins the channel is, Sarah Jane has to have a bottle of Malibu. It's an entrance fee. It's the in-joke, bless her.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. That's good to know.
That's why Sarah Jane's got 1,000 kits. It's a bottle of Malibu or a kit of my choice.
Yeah. I have my own problems.
Bless her. Yeah. No, that's our British humor, bless her.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And for the most part, if anybody doesn't know your channel, go ahead and plug it in your Facebook page, because it's really an interesting people.
I mean, you know, the YouTube channel, festa67's Workshop. The easiest way of finding me is actually through my website, which is www.festa67'sworkshop.com. Click on any of the tabs. You'll find all my social media on there, my YouTube. That'll take you to the channel where you can see videos. My Patreon page links are on there, all of that. And, you know, there's galleries of work up there. So pop over, give it a visit. Pop over to the channel, give it a like and a subscribe. It helps and helps us keep bringing content to keep you all occupied. So I couldn't do it without the viewers and the support. So that's where I am, festa67'sworkshop.com.
And if you don't have any questions for me, I'm going to end this, because this has been
no worries.
And I really appreciate you filling in for me today.
Not a problem, mate. It's been my pleasure, Josh.
And we'll talk in a couple minutes offline.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
All right, everybody. That was Collin. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. I'm really glad he filled in. I wasn't sure what I was going to do today for a hot minute. I'm sure I could have, gotten someone on, but I asked him and he came on and did an awesome job today. But anyway, if you don't know, he just plugged all his channels. Hopefully y'all. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Never mind. So I will see you guys not next week, because next week here in the States is 4th of July. And it's my anniversary weekend. Not doing anything that weekend. But the 10th, I have to look. I don't remember who's on, but the 17th, if you're not very confident with an airbrush, that is going to be an awesome awesome show. I got Ken from Badger coming on. So I know there's some people that have been asking me airbrush questions lately. So that's going to be a good topic, because it's about maintaining airbrushes is what we're going to talk about. At least that's my plan. So, but hopefully everybody liked it, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.